Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this paper crafting tutorial. Today we're going to make this lovely Easter basket. Isn't it cute? I'm just being careful so I don't spill eggs everywhere. But isn't it lovely the way it turned out? I'm so pleased with it. And this isn't my idea. This is somebody on Pinterest. I can't remember their name. And they made this years and years ago and I loved it, so I've rejigged it and made a similar one for myself. So let me show you how to do it. So I've made a template and we're going to be doing some cutting and scoring. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer because I just find it easier to use this way. And I can't remember the name of the paper, I'm really sorry, but everything will be listed and linked on the blog post and you can find the link to that in the description box below. Now this piece measures 6 by 6 inches and you can have either side. I'm going to go for this side, which is the Misty Moonlight side, and we're going to do some scoring. Now I have made a template, as you can see, and this template will be available on the blog post on my website. So firstly we're going to score at 1 7/8 of an inch. So let's move that to there. Now your scoring blade on the Stampin' Up trimmer is your light grey blade. Now don't press too heavily. It is paper and you don't want to go all the way through, so just a few times is better than one time heavily. So 1 7/8 and then 4 1/8. Okay. Now we're going to turn it 90 degrees and we're going to do the same. 1 7/8. And then 4 1/8. Okay. So now you should see on here, it's very difficult to see on the camera, can't really see it there either. You'll have a grid pattern. So now, doesn't matter which side you start on, which side you choose, because they're all the same at the moment, but I'm going to go for here. And we're going to do some more scoring, but only partial scoring. So if you look at my template here, you're going to see we're going to score down until the first score line, and then we're going to skip this middle section and continue to score down at the bottom. So I'm going to score at 5/8 to start off with, which is just here. And I'm just going to bring it down to where I can sort of see the score line. Not the easiest. And then I'm going to bring it up to there and I can see now that it's okay. So that's 5/8, and then we're going to score at 1 1/4. So bring it up to 1 1/4, and I'm going to just find, and then one 1/4, and then we're going to move it all the way along, and we're going to do 4 3/4. Same thing, just as partial up to the first score line, miss up the middle section, and then back up to this score line again, and then 5 3/8. Now I would recommend, before you make anything like this, make a template for yourself. It really is useful, and it just helps you understand how your bag, box, whatever you're making is meant to come together. Right, so that's all the scoring done. Now in this middle section here, so if you look at your piece now, you'll see it's easy to show you on here. You've got 1 2 3 little strips, this big box and 3 little strips. I'm going to work on this big blocks now, and I'm going to turn it over to the back just so I don't see my pencil mark so easily on the finished product. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure from the very edge to the 3-inch mark. So from the very edge to the 3-inch mark, and that's the very center of your paper. And you're going to do the same again from the very edge to the 3-inch mark. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to make a line down to this point and down to that point to the corners. So what I do is, I can't see, is I make a pencil mark in each corner, and then I can see the pencil mark and I can draw my line. If you can see and do this freehand, that's great for you. I can't. I need to have a line to follow to make sure I get this right. So do the same again. Okay. Right. So now I'm going to just, before I do anything, I'm going to fold on some of these score lines. It's just going to help me see what I'm doing. So I'm folding just on the full score lines at the moment, and it just makes it so much easier to see. Now I'm going to work at the back because I can see things a bit better. So I'm going to get my scissors, and what you want to do is here you want to cut down to the first score line. You want to release these little strips. So just take your time to get things as straight as you can. And same on this side. See, maybe I can see this one better. Like that. And then for this, I've missed one out here. See it better. It's funny, some of them I can see better from one side and some better from the other side, who knows. Anyway, so you've released these little flaps. Now for the centerpiece, you want to cut out those triangles. So you're just going to go down here and cut along that pencil mark and release those triangles. So that's what it should look like. Okay. Now we're going to turn it the other side and we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So along the score line up to the score line. I have so many lights on that it's so difficult to see this, it's unreal. I lost track of how many lights I've got on at the moment. There's something like 6 lights on to try and film this. And then, because I'm filming this in the evening, so it's pitch dark outside, so I need light. Okay, and then the last little bit of this triangle here. And there's no way I'd be able to cut straight without having those lines to follow. Right, so as you can see, everything looks good. Everything looks good, and now we're just going to fold all of this in to fit, to make our basket. So I'm going to take these first two, I'm going to bring them, you're going to have this triangle at the outside, and you can see how we're just going to hold everything, and I want this to be the same level roughly as my triangle. is going to be. So I should show you the camera look. Okay, so I'll be able to show you very easily from the side, but I'm going to start off with my first two. And you can start off with the top two or the bottom two pairs, it's up to you. I find it easier to start like this on my bottom two. I can start with the top two as well. Let's start with the top. Fold all these in. You want your triangle to be on the outside, and you're going to bring in the pairs to meet each other. So if we bring in the pairs, and you just want to fold them. It can be a bit fiddly, especially when you're trying to do it underneath the lights. But let's bring in these first two and meet them somewhere here in the centre, just like that. And then you're going to bring the next pair in and meet it roughly in the same place at the top. And then bring in your last pair. And you want to just basically see that everything is even. There's nothing sticking or poking out where it shouldn't. But everything looks pretty much the same. And I think it does. So I'm going to start to glue this down. You could staple it. I know the lady who did this initially stapled it, and I really have to say I really didn't like it stapled. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue just on my first pair. And I'm going to bring them in again to meet the top of this. And hold it and pinch it just like that. Then I'm going to bring my second pair. I can just put a little bit of glue. Less is definitely more in this case. And then if I want some more glue, I can put in if I feel I need. I can go in underneath here and put in. And there you have the one side done with all of my messing about. So now we're going to move on to the next side when I've got the glue off my fingers, which I absolutely hate. And we can do the same thing. I'm going to start off with our first pair and bring them to meet roughly in the centre there. So just a tiny bit of glue. And then we're going to make sure we bring them right, put the pairs together. So I'm going to bring in our next set of pairs. And just make sure these meet in the centre as well. And then your last set like that. And then we can just glue all of that down. Hold it. If you want something to hold it easily, just go with your bone folder and you can hold it easily there. Okay, so enough faffing with our bag. As you can see, it comes together really nicely, and the paper is so pretty that even if your sides aren't totally even, and mine definitely aren't, you really don't notice it, especially with this pattern. If you have stripes like on my original, it is more noticeable if you don't do something correct, but a pattern like that is definitely not. So I'm going to bring in some cardstock, some basic white, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping, something I feel much happier with. I'm going to do Choose Happy stamps that we're going to use. We're going to do the bunny rabbit. Obviously, it's meant to be an Easter basket. And I love all the different icons you've got here. So, let's ink up our bunny. And I make sure I leave space between my bunnies so I can punch him out. Didn't do a very good job there, did I? Much better. Okay, so move that aside. And then we're going to do... Sorry, I've just knocked everything over here. I want to do a little bit of colouring, and I'm going to use two sets here. I'm going to use Pretty in Pink and Soft Sea Foam, and I'm going to use Pretty in Pink for his ears. I need to get another Pretty in Pink because mine's running out of colour. Yeah, it's the deep Pretty in Pink, the dark version. I've got mine's totally run dry. I need to order, but I'm waiting for some other stuff to come in first before I order. Stuff that's back ordered, stuff that's not available yet, so I can save on my P&P. So I had someone ask me recently, do we get anything special as a demonstrator? Do we get, do we still have to pay P&P? It's like, yes, unfortunately we do. We're just like you, we have to pay the same P&P as everyone else. Makes no difference. So I'm just adding a little bit of soft sea foam around the edges of my rabbit, just so his tail and everything doesn't look so white. This has always been a favourite trick of mine, just adding a little bit of shadow with the light colour soft sea foam. And it works a treat. Right. I've got the 1.5 inch punch. Now this is retired, but you could use any circle punch you've got that fits, or obviously any die, circle dies, like the stylish shaped circle dies work very well here, but I'm in a rush and I don't have time to faff with that. Strawberry slush, and this is the 1 3/4. This is available. I'm going to take 2 of those, and then just bring this in for now. I'm going to stick these down. Make sure you try and get them centered as possible. So cute. And then I've got a piece here of the same designer series paper, and this is an inch, half an inch by 6 inches, and I'm going to stick it to a strip of strawberry slush that's 1 by 7. Just make sure I get it roughly in the centre as much as possible. And then, where's my bone folder? Give that a good thing. I'm going to run it through my bone folder just like that. My thumb on top, bone folder underneath, and it just helps to break down the fibres and start to achieve that curling shape. So then I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to put it on the outside of my box, and I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the very base here. Anyway, enough as good as a feast. We're just going to pinch that and hold it. Then we're going to take it round to the same side on the other side. We're going to take it round to the other side and do the same thing. What I was trying to say. My Tombow is nearly finished and I'm determined to get every drop out, hence me giving it a good shake. And then we're going to cover this all up with a little rabbit, so I'm going to just put glue on the bottom half of my rabbit. I'll put a little rabbit there, and then once I know where the strap is, the handle, I'm just going to add a bit more, and then we're going to do the same on the other side, and then we'll be able to fill it up with our Easter eggs. Okay, so let's put our rabbit down. Isn't that cute? Slow looks so cute. Right, let's clear the decks a little bit, give ourselves some space to work. We don't need any of these bits any longer, but we are going to need some crinkle paper. Now this is just paper I wanted to recycle, and I put it through the crimper and then stuck it through the shredder, and it comes out all lovely and crinkled. Which is really useful. So, and I just keep spare. I use it again and again for everything, and I just keep it in a bag so I can use it again and again to stage my photos. And then I've got this big bag of Easter eggs. Not quite sure why it's so big, but I'm just going to get a few out from here to put it in our little basket here. Sorry for the noise. That'll be enough for now. Move these out the way. And there you can see our two little baskets. Aren't they cute? Whoops, an escapee. But you can see there, they're just so cute. So I hope you've enjoyed this video showing you how to make these cute little Easter baskets featuring the Choose Happy stamp set from Stampin' Up. If you want more information about the project, the measurements and the copy of the template, etc., you'll find all of that on the blog post, and you'll find the link to that in the description box below, so do check that out. If you have enjoyed this project, I'd be very grateful if you could give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.